Contraction with our special guest. Let's bring them out. Alright, so we have ACHE and the myosin heads. Now we have myosin and ACH. Now we'll bring out ATP and the calcium ions. We have tropomyosin and sarcoplasmic reticulum. And then we also have the ACH receptor and the troponin. And then lastly we have sodium ions and the actin and myosin binding sites. Alright. So before we get into the actual muscle contracting, there are steps initiating muscle contraction. One of the most important steps to begin it is when the ACH is released and connects with the receptors. The action potential, which is an electrical event caused by a stimulus applied to a neuron or a muscle cell, which allows sodium ions to move into a cell, which reverses polarity. The binding increases permeability for the sodium ions to go into the cell. Then the action potential spreads throughout the sarcolemma, and then ACHE breaks down ACH. This then leads into the contraction cycle. In the first step, the calcium ions enter the sarcoplasm and connect to the troponin. The connection weakens the bond within the troponin and the tropomyosin and actin. When the troponin molecule changes position, it causes the tropomyosin molecule away from the actin sites, which causes interaction with the myosin heads. Now the formation of cross bridges can occur. Once the active sites are open, the myosin heads can connect with them. The third step is when the sarcomere is at rest, every myosin head turns away from the M line. Having the myosin head turn away uses energy. Energy is created by breaking down ATP into ADP in a phosphate group. In the position, ATP and ADP and phosphate are still binded to the myosin head. Once cross-bridge formation, stored energy is released. Once the myosin head turns toward the M line, this is known as power stroke, which causes the ATP and phosphate to be released. In the fourth step, when another ATP binds to the myosin head, the bind between the actin molecule and the myosin head breaks. It breaks. The active site is then revealed and is able to make another cross bridge. The final step is when the free myosin head separates the ATP into ADP in a phosphate group, myosin reactivation occurs. When the energy is released, it will be used to return the myosin head, thus the entire cycle or contraction will be repeated.